Hey, welcome to Raccoon Rambles. Tonight we're gonna feed some of the raccoons out there and we're gonna teach them mental toughness. Tonight's topic, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been caught up in an endless cycle of frustrating drama with family or friends or at work? If so, tonight's topic is for you, the drama triangle. Or if you suspect you might ever be in this kind of a situation, this is going to help you with your understanding. Or if you have a drama-free life and you just want to enjoy some super cute raccoons, then you can ignore my rambling, and tonight's talk is for you as well. My name is Brendan. I'm a mental toughness coach, and I also post a lot of nature videos. Let's go outside and see who's waiting for us. Can you see? There they are. All right, let's go meet up with them. Come on. All right. So, here is how a drama triangle works. You have a victim. This is not a real victim. It's somebody who's just pretending to be a victim. And they want everyone to feel bad for them, but they don't want to actually do anything to make their situation better. Then you also have a persecutor. The persecutor is aggressively and harshly judging others, circulating rumors and falsehoods, and really acting like they're holier than thou. You also have a rescuer, and a rescuer is generally trying to help in a way that is not helpful. They tend to do a lot of enabling and meddling, and they tend to take sides and get involved. They just want to feel needed. The problem with this kind of a drama triangle is it creates an endless cycle of frustrations. So here's some examples of how a drama triangle might play out in real life. It might happen in groups. Maybe you have a dogmatic religion, and they say, oh, you're the victim, you're helpless, we're here to rescue you, and all the other religions are wrong and misleading. So they're persecuting the other religions, they're positioning themselves as rescuer, and they're positioning you as the victim. That's one example of how it might play out. Here's another example of how a drama triangle might play out. You might have a politician, let's say her name is Karen. She blames the previous politician in power, saying that they messed everything up. But she's going to come in and fix it, and don't feel bad because that politician fooled everybody, okay? So Karen is positioning herself as the rescuer, the other politician she's persecuting, and she's positioning you as the victim. So Karen gets into power, and what does she do? She does an even worse job than the previous politician, but then she says it's not my fault. They left things such a mess. So now they're positioning themselves as the victim. Then another politician comes along, Joe, and he says, elect me next. Karen did a bad job, and if you elect me, I will make our city great again. And it's not your fault because Karen fooled all of us. So now Joe has positioned himself as the rescuer, the public as the innocent, and is persecuting Karen. And what does Joe do? He gets into power and he gets involved in all kinds of scandals and frauds and everything else. And he plays the victim again. He says, it's not my fault. I'm trying to help people. I'm doing the best I can, but Karen left things a mess. It's an endless cycle in the drama triangle. Another example is in relationships. You know, let's say Susie meets Pedro And Pedro is, tells her some stories about how crazy his ex-girlfriends were and how they messed him over. So he's positioning himself as the victim. Susie decides, oh, I can help him and I can love him. She positions herself as the rescuer. Pedro moves in very quickly and starts to become very abusive. Pedro gets his mom involved. She takes his side. His mom starts blaming Susie. Why can't you be more sensitive and caring? He's doing all kinds of scandalous behavior, and the mom is inserting herself into the situation and taking his side and blaming Susie and guilt-tripping her. Have you ever been part of a drama triangle? Drama triangles often play out in families as well. There's often a golden child or a child that can do no wrong, and the parents will always take that child's side, and they step in and they might blame and shame the scapegoat child. So they may have one child who is the repository for all the blame. Parents might be playing rescuer. The golden child is probably playing the victim, like I'm helpless. And both of them are probably playing persecutor. So let's talk more about the persecutor role. The persecutor tends to project their shameful behavior onto others. False accusations are confessions. They might spread stories about you being dishonest because they're dishonest. They might spread stories about you being selfish because they're selfish. If you're in a relationship, they'll accuse you of cheating because they're cheating. It's very common for persecutors to do this. They tend to have the attitude that they're okay and everyone else is not okay. A persecutor is basically like a victim without compassion. And they like to run smear campaigns. They pretend to be the expert of who you are. So they will go and speak to other people and say, there's some troubling information. I don't want to be the one to tell you this about so-and-so. And then they might use some clinical terms and sound like an expert and circulate falsehoods to discredit you and weaken your social structure. Especially if you've seen behind the mask and you've seen the truth of who they really are and you've caught them in some bad actions they shouldn't have been doing, rather than taking accountability, they're just going to try to discredit you. Now, if you've had somebody do this to you with the drama, then just know that some people will believe the narratives and some people won't. The people who won't are your people. And if you need to approach people, you can just say, look, some things have been said about me. Unfortunately, they're not true. I'm sorry you've heard it, if you've heard any of it, but you know me. Does any of that stuff really sound like me? And that's how you can approach people that have been targeted by the persecutor if you've become the persecutor's target. One bit of baggage is they don't want to show any vulnerability. They don't want to show mistakes. They might think under the surface, if people got to know the real me, they wouldn't like me. Well, let's talk about why it's a bad idea to have that attitude. First of all, it's a really unfair standard of perfection that's going to be very hard to keep. Second of all, we're just going to be hiding our faults all the time and masking our problems. The empowering truth here might be that, you know what? I can just be me, and if people reject me, then I'll just be redirected to my true people, because there will always be people out there that accept you for who you really are. Rejection is just a redirection if it happens, and I can find my people eventually. That's the cure to baggage number one. So baggage number two is that they often think life is a harsh and cruel place, and you need to be tough to survive. Why is it a bad idea to have this mindset? Well, you're going to live in fear and you're going to perceive threats everywhere. You're going to perceive threats where threats aren't existing. You're going to take offense easily. You're going to be incredibly sensitive because you're going to always have the mindset that you're under attack. If you think life is a harsh and cruel place. What's the empowering truth? Well, the empowering truth is that if you're going to focus on all the bad things in life, you have to be fair and balance your perspective by also recognizing the good. That right now in the world, people are forgiving, people are healing, people are helping each other, babies are being born, people are falling in love. There's all kinds of beautiful, wonderful things going on in the world, and we need to balance our perspective. If you're going to focus on the bad about life, you have to be fair and focus on the good. Otherwise, you're going to get a really distorted worldview that's going to make you drunk on fears, perceiving threats everywhere. And that's often what underlies the persecutor. So there's a couple success strategies if somebody is the persecutor. One, they need to foster compassion. Imagine the pain other people are going through. Imagine the pain they're feeling from what you've put them through. Really try to identify and understand the struggles other people go through, just like your own struggles. Realize that we're all in the same boat. Number 2 is check yourself. Persecutors often tell themselves false stories. They narrate their life in very disharmonious and false ways. They come up with hasty judgments and they create damage that is not within their power to even fix. So it's important to check yourself. When a thought disturbs your mental peace, ask yourself, is this just a story I'm telling myself, or is it the undeniable truth? And if it's just a story, ask yourself, what's the empowering truth about this situation? That's how we can check ourselves. One of the things with the persecutor is they often are following the opposite of the golden rule. You know, they treat other people harshly and rudely, but they expect to be treated good by everybody all the time. So the key for them is to follow the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want to be loved, make others feel loved. If you want to feel important, make others feel important. Give the needs that you wish to receive. Try it as an experiment. It works. It works so much better than these unhealthy patterns of getting importance by being angry and trying to control the situation and getting mad and harsh and judgmental. Try a better mechanism to get your needs met a healthier way. So, the next position in the drama triangle we'll talk about is the rescuer. These are the ones who try to get involved and try to help, but they don't have the wisdom and discernment to know if they're truly helping or not. They aren't really helping in a way that is helpful. So what these people do is they usually have a blind loyalty to the victim. They usually take the victim's side without even questioning the right or wrong of it. But this isn't true loyalty. This is often being loyal to a cause that they shouldn't be loyal to. If you really want to be loyal, you should be loyal to the path of truth and virtue and the highest good for all involved. But this isn't what the rescuer does, and there's a number of reasons why they don't. Swami Vivekananda says, even the strongest youth remains but a child if he is treated like a child by his parents. Very important. When we enable, we disable. By solving the problems for them, we block them from developing their problem-solving abilities. And most of the time, rescuers don't have the proper skills to help. They think they do, they have the intention, but they really don't know what they're doing in many cases, and they just make it worse. They really fall for the victim narratives and try to jump in to help, a lot of times out of their own pride. They like feeling needed. They like to be the saving hero for others. And this is what perpetuates the drama. Remember that no good can come from helping weak people in their weakness. So baggage number one for the rescuer is, I need to do things for other people. Why is it a bad idea to think this way? Well, unless you're an emergency response worker or something, people are capable of doing things for themselves. There's a saying that when it comes to your children and when it comes to the elderly, don't do anything for them that they can do for themselves. People are much more capable than we give them credit for when they are maximally motivated. If somebody's 10 out of 10 motivated, they will find a way or make a way to figure out their problems. Everything is figure-outable. It's not a matter of ability, it's a matter of motivation. The answers are out there on virtually every problem a human being can face. Another baggage the rescuers have is that when you love somebody, you need to shield them from suffering. Why is that a bad idea? Well, if we treat people fragile, they stay fragile. Suffering can be a powerful teacher. Suffering can be a motivator. Suffering helps us grow. It's how we get stronger. People don't change until they've suffered enough. Who are we to want to deprive others of the benefits of suffering? We shouldn't vilify suffering. We should take some time to reflect on the benefits of suffering. Another baggage that rescuer types have is, I need to be the saving hero for everybody. I need to help everybody. Why is it a bad idea to think that way? Well, it puts too much pressure on yourself. And why would we try to help those who are committed to staying broken? A lot of people like staying broken because they love the hidden benefits. They love the love and attention they get for staying broken. So they will give hope that they want to get better and that they're going to put out the effort, and then they sabotage it. Then they give hope and then they sabotage it because they fear getting better, because they know people are attracted to them because of their brokenness. So the truth is, not everybody is our assignment. We are not the only path to salvation for these people in our life. The truth knows where they live. Life and the universe will give them the salvation they need when they are ready for it, in whatever shape or form. Not everybody is our assignment. Just take a look at the great ones that have lived. Jesus didn't heal and help everybody in his lifetime. One of the greatest healers of all time. Who are we to think that we can, or that we should? So some solutions, if you are a rescuer, is to practice empowerment, not enabling. Instead of solving things for people, you can say to them, hey, what are all the solutions for this problem? Hey, what can you learn about this? And then you can encourage them. You're smart enough, you're strong enough, you can figure it out, and if you need any help, you let me know on anything in particular. Just empower them. Remind them of who they are and what they're capable of. If you have them recall some of their past successes in life when they went from struggle to success, to remind them of the fact they're capable of doing hard things. Practice empowerment rather than enabling. Be practical in the type of help you give. Ask yourself 3 questions. Who needs help the most? Number 2, what kind of help do they need? Maybe they just need help getting motivated to solve it on their own, rather than you solving it for them. Number 3, am I the best person to give that help? Many times they need professional help, a professional guide. Many times people don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they need a therapist. So if somebody is acting all victim-y early on, they need a therapist, not a girlfriend. Who needs help the most? What kind of help do they need? Am I the right person to give it? And the final point for the rescuer is, if you want to rescue somebody, rescue yourself. Rescue yourself from this pattern, okay? As Yogananda says, change yourself and you've done your part in changing the world. Lead by example. It's known that the best way to truly influence a change in behavior is to lead by example. Take extreme ownership for your actions. Demonstrate compassion and empathy. And empower others. And lead by example. So now we have the victim. The victim is a pattern where people don't really want their situation, don't really want to make their situation better, they just want people to feel bad for them. And this just perpetuates problems and frustrations. It's looking for a shortcut that doesn't exist. The first step is you have to decide you want to be happy. Victim mentality is a joy stealer. Decide you want to be happy. Decide that you're not going to stay loyal to your suffering. Because victim mentality is all about creating these false narratives that don't match up with reality, in which you're a victim when you're not. Often you're the one perpetuating the problem. And so life will just never match up to it. Now, one of the things is that if you ever try to get somebody in victim mentality to take responsibility, they usually flip into being the persecutor. And they persecute you for being insensitive. So if you say, you know what, you could just get the energy up and take care of some of these problems and solve it on your own, and they might be like, oh, easy for you to say, you've had things easy your whole life and look at you, and they can often quickly turn an attack on you because you're threatening their ideals. Funny enough, persecutors, if you call them out on their bad behavior, they pretend to be a victim. They'll act like, oh, why is everybody attacking me? Why is everybody turning on me? Wah, wah, wah. All of them will play the victim at some point. Rescuers play the victim. They'll be like, oh, I was only trying to help. Why is everyone getting mad at me, even though I was meddling with everything? All of them are actually competing for the victim's cup. As Barry and Janae Weinhold have said, all of them jockey for the victim's cup in the end. One of the baggages the victim has is to tell themselves they can't control their circumstances, or that it's doomed to fail. They always fail, right? Why is it a bad idea to do this? Well, if you tell yourself this, you might actually start believing it. And what's the empowering truth? No matter what, we can control a lot in any situation. We can definitely control what goes on the inside. We can control our motivation level. If we want to, we can get ourselves 10 out of 10 motivated. We can control our learning. We can learn what we need to learn to have power over our situation. We can control our effort level. If we want to be 10 out of 10 effort on resolving this and make it truly a top priority. We can control our actions. We can control where we put our time and energy into. We can control our attitudes. We can control all that really counts, everything on the inside. And it's a do-it-yourself project. Nobody can do this for you. You got to take control. The other baggage that a victim may have is, this is who I am, I can't change. They will tell themselves and others, this is who I am, I can't change, just accept me for who I am. Why is this a bad idea? Well, this becomes an excuse for repeating bad behavior. It's letting yourself off the hook to continue creating harm for yourself and others, and creating lots of pain and consequences for the people around you. You're letting yourself off the hook by saying you can't change. What's the empowering truth? You've changed a lot. Since you were a baby, to a toddler, to a teenager, to now. You've changed in so many ways. Attitudes, beliefs, appearance. The true self is a grower and a changer. You are a highly capable learner, and you can learn new patterns in your life to experiment with. Once you decide to. Change is pretty much all you've ever done. If you're in victim mentality, you need to reclaim your power. You need to decide everything is figure-outable. You're going to find a way instead of finding an excuse. There's no lack of resources out there, just a lack of resourcefulness, as Tony Robbins would say. And remind yourself, I am responsible. Take extreme ownership. We are responsible for every circumstance in our life, even if it's only 1% of the equation. We still have some responsibility in every situation. So hopefully understanding this cycle of drama helps you have validation and understanding for your own healing. Just know that the root cause of the drama triangle is that people have got addicted to meeting their needs in unhealthy ways. So some solutions if dealing with a trauma triangle. Perhaps you've been the target of one. Perhaps you've been used as a scapegoat for a drama triangle in which all three have turned against you in an endless cycle of persecution and shame and blame and humiliation. Or perhaps you've got involved in one as a victim, as a persecutor, as a rescuer. Well, solution number one is get the facts straight. Get all the information straight and make sure everyone that needs the facts gets the facts. Now, if you're providing evidence and this and that, just know that some people are going to reject the evidence and proof of their behavior. They're going to continue to hammer the false narrative. It happens, trust me. You can get everything in writing and everything else, proving the lies and deception. People will continue to hammer the false narrative. They'll accuse you of overthinking. They'll call you crazy when you do it. They've got an idea about you. They've narrated you as a villain in this life story. As Yogananda would say, these people are psychological antiques. They're very fossilized in their thoughts and ideas. They can't be reasoned with, even with proof. Another step is it can be very helpful to get a guide to help navigate you through drama. Find your Gandalf or your Yoda or your Albus Dumbledore. Find somebody who can give you higher wisdom and perspective on how to navigate this terrain. Everybody can benefit from a coach. That's why Olympic athletes have coaches. They're super good, but they know a coach can get you further than you could on your own. So the next step is to avoid the people that always seem to be involved in some sort of a drama, the people that are always complaining and blaming other people in their life. They're addicted to the drama. Just know that if you're going to be around these people, there's always going to be minefields to navigate. There's always going to be false accusations, and they're going to try to pull you into the drama with their gossip and their rumors. Avoid the people that always seem to be involved in drama. If you have created a bit of a mess in drama triangling, just try to clean your mess. If you've done any of these bad behaviors, try to do good in equal measure to the bad behavior you've done in order to make amends. Don't look for an easy way out. Don't look to get away with a few quick apologies and this and that and just empty words without action and follow through. Go back and clean your mess. Now, the final step is to accept that you may always be the bad person or villain according to the drama triangle. That people may never change their disharmonious ways. There's a story about a frog that wanted to cross the river, and there was a scorpion. And the scorpion said to the frog, "Can you give me a ride across the river?" And the frog said, "Well, how do I know you're not going to sting me?" And the scorpion said, "Well, why would I sting you? It would be bad for you and it would be bad for me. We'd both end up drowning." So the frog is like, "Okay, you're right. I'll take you across the river." So the frog swims the scorpion halfway across the river, and the scorpion stings the frog. And the frog's like, "What are you doing? Now we're both going to die. You said you weren't going to sting me." And the scorpion said, "I'm a scorpion. I sting. It's what I do." You may have some scorpions in your life, close friends and family. You may need to love them at a safe distance, as you would love a pet scorpion. If you get too close, no matter what it says, it's going to sting you because that's what scorpions do. Just know that in the end, the drama triangle does us some sort of a favor. By showing us how not to live, it inspires us on how to live. We learn through negative judgment that it disturbs us when we negatively judge others. This inspires us towards compassion. We learn how disempowering it is to play the victim and how it never really leads to a fulfilling life. We become motivated to take responsibility, take ownership, and reclaim our power. And then we learn how problematic it can be to enable people and meddle and try to rescue and fix. And we can appreciate the shift and transition to being able to coach and guide and empower others rather than trying to fix them. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. The bad behavior gets normalized in drama triangles, unfortunately. So if it's a part of your family, bad behavior is going to be normal in that family. And you may have to exit a drama triangle for your own sanity and to take care of yourself. And when you do, just know that the narrative will be that you are the bad person, you are the crazy person, you are overthinking, because everyone's going to try to save face. And in future, if you have to deal with people involved in the drama triangle, just do something called gray rocking. Just keep the conversation very shallow, very surface level, very minimal. Don't get into detail in any conversation on anything, and you won't get pulled into the drama if you do have to face these people. So this has been all about the drama triangle and understanding it so you can navigate it and you can help others. This has been Raccoon Rambles. We appreciate you joining this raccoon drama tonight. Drama-free is the way to be.